Hello everyone, Philippe Roy here from EL-Chat.ai. EL-Chat.ai is a generative AI application that actually integrates in any real estate website. It uses and references only the properties on that website and improves the user experience through generative AI. But enough said, let's go to a demo and look at this. I want a 3-bedroom condo in Cabarete. This website that EL-Chat is integrated into is in the Dominican Republic. And Cabarete is a town in the Dominican Republic, and just through voice here, I instructed the system what I'm looking for, and it generated like the search criteria. But here's the thing that is special about EL-Chat. Through chat, from voice or text, it controls a map. Like I asked about Cabarete, and it actually repositioned the map into Cabarete, and anything that is reproduced in terms of inventory of properties in the map is shown in the listing view. So that's pretty unique. So typically even ChatGPT barely only interacts with text as input and output. EL-Chat is not like this. And it goes on like it's a dialogue. What is your price range for the property? So let's answer it. 500K. It is using natural language. You don't know complexity. You can use your own words, and the artificial intelligence layer will understand about this. So in the view there, by putting an upper limit of 500K for my purchase, the map now shows 0 of 10. There are 10 properties overall, but 0 are shown in the map. So let's go and see where they are. Oh, they're not so far from Cabarete, so let's further consider them. Okay, let's say as a customer, a potential buyer, have some criteria, but it's not only about the property itself, but it's the surroundings also. So look at this. Show me the beaches around there. EL-Chat has about 7 billion amenities around the world, and it goes from restaurants to beaches to gymnasiums, churches, you name it. It's 700 different categories of items, and it can dynamically show in the map where these elements are. Like for example, here in green we see the beaches. So with my criteria of looking for a property close to the beach, I can actually see that, okay, that fits my criteria. But let's say I'm passionate about scuba diving, for example. Let's ask if there is around there. Where can I do some scuba diving in the Dominican Republic? So right now, the map is positioned in Sosua, which is not that far from Cabarete, and we're using ChatGPT to confirm that Sosua actually has some scuba diving, and people have a lot of potential passions, and that's the point where a generative AI system really helps. So you see here, Puerto Sosua is in the list there, so we know that there is some scuba diving around there. So okay, we're good. You know, these properties seems good, but let's further investigate what other services are around there. In a 20-kilometer radius, what other services are around there? As stated, EL-Chat has a lot of information about many aspects of amenities, of surroundings. And this is important in the customer experience for real estate. So we see there are 7 beaches, 9 ATMs, 5 banks, 5 bars, and so on. And each of these categories can actually expand, where we see each element related to it. For example, I went to the restaurants here. Seafood restaurant, Mediterranean internet, and so on. And I even have the phone number here in 10 kilometers from there. And I can even see all the restaurants, the density of restaurants around the points that I'm considering here. So, okay, so that's good. You know, I would have beaches, I would have restaurants, I can do scuba diving. That's actually what I want. I see 3 properties here that are of interest to me. But which one? Let's look at them. Okay, so 399,000, 450,000, and 499. Let me ask the system to compare these 3 properties. Let's do that. So here it is. Artificial intelligence read through the description of each property and looked around the amenities on each properties, and it's showing 3 favorable points related to each and 3 less favorable, and it's doing like a round robin on each property around this, and then it even comes back with some recommendations. Based on the information provided, I would recommend this property as the best property to purchase. Here are my reasons, blah 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 blah, and go on. So that's interesting. Okay, but let's say you're a real estate agent and the customer you're actually looking to relocate is Russian speaking. You want him to have all that information into his own language. So let's actually use generative AI to fix that. So basically, I ask the same question, I put a little arrow in there, and I say Russian, and then I send that chat. And then it calculates the comparables, and it will actually translate it into Russian. Done. And this is ready for you to actually forward to your customer, so it has that information in its own language. Talking about that, if your customer actually asks you what are the procedures for closing, and you've been through this many times, and you're tired of repeating, and you just want to let the system handle this. What are the closing procedures in the country? So I asked EL-Chat for the closing procedures, and it knows the country is actually the Dominican Republic, and it will just spell out all the different steps that are needed at closing time. So you don't have to bother yourself too much with keeping that information available to you as a real estate agent. You can actually only forward that information to your customer whenever he needs it. And there's so many aspects that the system handles. The closing procedures in the Dominican Republic involve several steps. 1, reservation agreement. The initial stage is a reservation agreement which takes the property off market for an agreed period and fixed buy prices, and so on. You can read through that. So it's pretty powerful stuff, but there's even more. Let me type hola, and for those of you who doesn't know what hola is, it basically means hi in Spanish. So as I do that, I communicate to the system that, hey, I prefer Spanish. Look at what's happening here. It translated everything to Spanish. It even allows me to do my speech recognition in Spanish into different accents. And you can do this in hundreds of languages. Let's do French now. As your user accesses the system into his own language, into his browser, like for example, a person in Italy might have his browser in Italian. The system detects it and it presents everything in Italian. It offers speech recognition in Italian, and every interaction is in Italian. Okay, like here I'm in French. I go in there, everything is in French. Okay, so that is another strength of the system that adapts really well to users, regardless of the fact that the website is entirely in English. So many aspects, but I'll leave it here. This is EL-Chat.ai. Hopefully you appreciated this demo.